I was just looking in the last little video that I did from Acts chapter 8, and I was looking at the story of Philip the evangelist, as he's often referred to, and I like him because he doesn't necessarily have a large part in Acts in terms of the text and the narrative, but he has some lovely situations that happen, and we're told in Acts 8 how he was one of the people who went down to Samaria. He was quite busy with working with people there and proclaiming Christ, and amazing things were going on, no doubt about it. And but he works with others. He works with Peter and John, who come down, and they're around as well. And he's also sensitive to God's leading. So I mentioned about how he listens. An angel speaks to him. He listens. He goes down to what seems to be a remote, quite out of the way place, somewhere where you wouldn't particularly be looking for a large crowd, but it's a real divine appointment, this person he sees. And I like to just look at the last part of Acts chapter 8, and talks about when Philip baptizes the Ethiopian, and then it says this, and he gave orders to stop the chariot. Then both Philip and the eunuch went down into the water, and Philip baptized him. When they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord suddenly took Philip away, and the eunuch did not see him again, but went on his way rejoicing. Philip, however, appeared at Azotus and travelled about, preaching the gospel in all the towns until he reached Caesarea. And I think what's interesting is that we hear that Philip has been prompted by an angel to go down to connect with this guy. He doesn't know that that's what's going to happen, but he's just obedient, going in the right direction. And then we hear that God sort of whips him away. Suddenly he's kind of ushered away. From what we can understand the text, the Holy Spirit does that in a dramatic way, that suddenly it seems to disappear and appears somewhere else instead. Quite dramatic, and it really appears quite supernatural. And I find that amazing, that God takes him somewhere and then whips him away. But the first step is a step of obedience, and there's just the timing in it, and there's another job for him to do. And I want to pray that God would lead us in his timing, his appointments, his schedule. I mentioned in another video that I've had more flexible schedule recently, and I'm finding that I often need to ask the Lord, okay, Lord, guide me today. Maybe you've got, maybe you have more rigid appointments, maybe life is more planned out for you, but you can still pray that you meet the right people at the right time, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to come across your path, knock on your door, or walk past you, or whatever. And I had a situation today where I felt I need to go and connect up with a friend, somebody I hadn't seen for a while. I needed to ask a question to them, and I had some time free today that I wouldn't normally have, and so I felt I should go and connect up with them. I knew that they needed a little bit of encouragement as well about something, and they are involved in managing an organisation, and I know that they definitely need a bit of encouragement at the moment. And so I had a couple of thoughts to share with them, and interestingly enough, I got there, and it was quite timely. They've been thinking about me, and it was a very timely conversation, actually. And later on in the day, I was due to go into a coffee shop. Actually, it sounds like I always drink coffee. constantly, but I often work in coffee shops, doing emails or messages or phone calls or whatever, sometimes using it as a base during the day. And so there's one or two regular places I tend to go to quite a bit. But I was going to go into one of the ones that I quite regularly perhaps pop into, and I get quite a lot of loyalty points for, etc. And I was kind of waiting in the queue, and I was thinking, I really felt like I needed to not be there but be somewhere else. And I really had this kind of sense that I don't think I should settle here. No, I need to go out the door, and I need to go for a bit of a wander again. And so I did that, and I did a couple of errands and was looking at one or two things and thinking, okay, Lord, what is it you're trying to bring to my attention? And just towards the end of that time, I could have got the bus, but I thought I'll pop in a bit longer. I'll go into the bookshop where there's a coffee shop, and I'll have a drink there and just finish off one or two things I need to do. And I was sitting there. There were three guys, and these guys were from the Middle East, as it happened, and they were looking at some English language stuff, and they were obviously learning English. And I was fascinated. I was thinking, I wonder where they're from, And they spoke to a guy who was sitting next to them, and it was a little bit sort of offhand. I felt, and I thought it'd be nice just to kind of reach out to them and just obviously trying hard to learn English, but they perhaps find it quite a challenge, and it'd be great for them just to have a few words with an English speaker. And so I asked them where they were from, and they said which countries, and I thought that's interesting. And I know of a Christian TV channel that broadcasts in their language, and I thought, I think I'm going to give them those details and encourage them to tune in and to have a listen. Maybe look on the internet and check it out. And one of the guys said he was from a country where there are not many Christians, where it's quite difficult to be a Christian actually, and he had spent several months here already. He was due to be going back to his country, he said. So I thought this is a great opportunity for him to check out this channel and to have a listen in his native Arabic actually. So I thought it'd be really good for him to listen to this. And I gave him the details, and it was just one of those moments where I thought, well, the Lord led me to be there, to go to the right coffee shop. He might not be in the country for that much longer, but my prayer is that he listens in to some of these broadcasts and he can get it on as an app on his phone, or he can just listen on YouTube or whatever. I pray that God will speak to him, and I pray that these timely appointments will bring great fruit from them. So I pray for you too, that God will speak to you and that he'll use you in divine appointments and organise your schedule and direct you, and that you'll be able to be obedient. We're all kind of learn how to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit and led and directed and taken here and there by the Holy Spirit, because we want to be available to God and be bang on time, his time and his appointments. I really pray for that for all of us. Bless you loads.